Governor is here now, too. Good morning, Governor.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. Wasn't it great to listen to Derek Lowe?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't seem that long ago, does it?
No. I remember last year, the 20th anniversary, and I was over at Fenway, and we were gathered down below and for the ceremony, and just all the guys hanging out. I mean, it was as much a locker room then, as it was back in '04, and the bonds that he speaks of. I mean, it was palpable. You could still feel it. 20 years later is awesome.
You haven't had a chance to. Well, I was going to say you haven't had a chance. You haven't had a chance to plan a parade, but Celtics parade. Maybe you'll have another one.
Banner
of those.
19, baby, right?
What did you think of that
Awesome.
start last night? Awesome. Okay, you weren't worried about Jason Tatum?
Oh, last night?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, nothing's easy.
Yeah.
And actually, I think this series is going to be more challenging than people would think, right? For a first round, these are professional athletes, so every game's going to be a game. Obviously, you want Jason to be as healthy as he can possibly be, and everyone on the team to be as healthy as they can be. But I mean, when they're healthy, they're unstoppable. Amazing team, amazing group of guys.
Prep-wise, sorry.
Well, go ahead.
Prep-wise, is it harder to plan a parade or is it harder to plan the Boston Marathon?
Well, this is the nice thing about being governor. You've got a mayor in a city that actually has to do all the heavy lifting and the planning. So the city did a great job last year. Of course, we were there with state police and always happy to support. But wouldn't that be nice, right, if that were my problem?
Yeah.
Figuring out how to plan championship parades.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Well, you guys pulled off the 250th anniversary this weekend. That was
awesome.
That was pretty good.
I have to tell you, I have a lot of amazing experiences as governor. I think about with Pope Francis's passing. I think about my trip to the Vatican when he invited me last year. Like incredible things you get to experience. That was amazing over the weekend. I hope people got out. We'll be celebrating 250 all year long, but the other day, whether it's in Charlestown or the North End for Paul Revere's ride, I mean, thousands stretched that night across Paul Revere Park, and then Concord and Lexington. We had tens of thousands of people out. Amazing to see all the military there. What was really cool? So we had the Golden Knights, the parachuters from West Point come, and they're from the Army come, and they did this targeted landing right on the battle green and in Lexington, where it all went down 150 years ago. Then they brought out all these soldiers in the regimental uniform of the day. So what the first soldier wore back in the 1700s all the way through the present. And it was super cool. And they did all these drills and formations and fife and drums. And, it's just this incredible display of our military history and a great weekend of patriotism. So this is the best weekend of the year in Massachusetts, Patriots Day, but to have it be on the 250th anniversary of this country, that's what I say. I give a hard time to my good friends in Pennsylvania and Virginia, just reminding them this is where it all began, right? This is it. We started the revolution.
We created America.
We created the nation.
Yeah, the reenactors are incredible.
We need full credit for that.
Right. Yes. I know you weren't governor at the time, but the way the bombings occurred and then now what, as someone who's been here my whole life, the marathon's just so different in a good way. Obviously we wish nothing had ever happened, but what is the marathon and what does today mean to you as the governor?
I mean, the marathon's always been special. Another first about Massachusetts, we're home to many firsts. We're also home to the first annual marathon in the world. And there's no marathon in the world greater than the Boston Marathon. It's always been that way. I think what changed after 2013 is that the marathon became this symbol of resilience and strength. The other day it was cool. We were over in Dorchester with the Richard family, and it was for it was for the opening, essentially. We had shovels in our hands because work's going to begin on the Martin Richard Fieldhouse for the Boys and Girls Club of Boston. It's going to be amazing what it's going to do for kids. And it came about because of Bill and Denise Richards' commitment and vision to making sure that the spirit of young Martin lives on through the experiences of other kids. And I was able to present them with $12 million to help move that construction along. And it's just an example of, the kinds of things that have come out of this this whole horrific in 2013. I'm looking across the firehouse right now. The firefighters, the first responders, volunteers. You got people in medical tents lining the course. The amount of people that are working this is truly amazing. We've got.
Well, my only concern is the bikers. What do they do on a day like today? Because the bike lanes are
Wiggy would tell them to stay home.
Stay home.
Stay home.
Okay.
Stay off the roads. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although
streets.
one thing.
Can we get more bike lanes? Really? I know
No,
I bring it
need
up.
the
I'm
need
not-
to
I bring it
change
up
has
to you all the time.
You do,
but
and
really,
I'm not in the bike lane camp for the city. I've told you. I've talked to you
know.
about that before.
You and I agree on something.
We do.
Millionaires tax. You haven't helped me on the millionaires tax. We got a Celtics team that they may not be able to pay for these guys. We might have to eliminate the millionaires tax sooner than later.
I know there's been talk of that. Look, that's something that got passed by the voters before I became governor.
Yeah,
so
not your fault.
I have cut taxes though.
Yeah,
I have
that's
cut
good.
taxes,
Yeah, that's
and
good. Wiggy likes that.
I'm hoping we get like Mississippi and you completely say no more
income.
state
Yeah,
tax.
think about that.
well,
Someday.
we are really focused on trying to drive down costs here, mostly by a lot of it by building more housing. You
Yeah.
got to make housing less expensive.
You were on
It's
with
an
us.
awesome day, though. I got to tell you, because this is such a moving day. Like 127 countries represented, people from all 50 states, right? Like the stories, everything. It's an awesome day. So if you can, get out to the course
20
somewhere.
runners
You got
over
26
80 years
miles.
old. 20 runners over 80.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. Talk about making you feel like crap as
Yeah.
a 40.
Yeah.
The last time you were on, we were at the Faneuil Hall Sam Adams, and you were talking about needing to get people to stay in Massachusetts. Yeah. We have a new ownership group potentially with the Celtics. Is it possible to build a basketball facility in the greater Boston area? Because everybody we talk to says it's like redoing the pyramids in Egypt. There's no chance.
Yeah, big news, right? Change in ownership, and it's. We'll see what they do, right? It's up to them in terms of what they do. I think the relationship with TD Garden and Delaware North has been a good one. They've worked that out very well. I think the organizations have gotten along very well over the years. What's to come? That'll be for them to decide. One thing I do think would be worth considering, though, is what we could do with a WNBA team. Imagine if we had WNBA team. We've got women's pro sports in hockey and soccer and basketball. There's a lot of interest in women's sports right now, and I think it'd be really cool to have a women's professional sports complex right somewhere like they've built out in some other cities. So I don't know.
Isn't Donnie Wahlberg and a couple of guys trying to get a WNBA team?
Yeah,
in
there's a group. There's a few different groups out there. Obviously, Connecticut's got the Sun, and that's
right.
In the same market. So, but I just think that there's a real interest there, and it could be a real draw. But we'll see. Regardless, I'll be rooting for wherever they play, whoever owns them. We'll be rooting for the Celtics, especially as they come down the stretch here the next 8 weeks.
You have ceremonial duties today. You have to. Do you have to place the wreath or the what do they call that?
Yeah, it's I don't know. Is it the wreath?
I think.
Crown? It's for the men's winner.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most nerve-wracking things I have had to do as governor.
Yeah.
Honestly, because
it's probably not real plant, real foliage. It's probably like
it's gold leaf. I don't know how they make it, but
Yeah.
it's this beautiful wreath.
Yeah.
It's very delicate. These little gold leaves,
Yeah.
and you have to carefully place it on the head of the winner, and just pray that you don't place it in a way that it goes, right down on the.
Well, Greg actually does it. Greg does it for the last place finisher. So.
Yeah,
we can practice.
Kind of my thing. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by.
Great.
It's great to see you. And any other, Curtis, was there any other? I think we covered everything. We want the millionaires tax gone.
Well, that's a you problem. I'm nowhere near.
Less bike lanes.
Less bike lanes.
If we
trying
can
to
figure
build
out
more housing.
rent,
housing, rent
issues.
State tax, always start there first.
Wiggy wants no taxes. So if you work,
New Hampshire can do it. We're better than New Hampshire. Why can't we do it?
Oh, what about where do you stand on the audit? Like speaking of things that voters voted for.
Yeah, just let it just be done with it. I'm tired of talking about it, honestly. You know, I mean, the voters decided just
can't you just tell the legislature to do it? I don't know how that works.
It doesn't really work that way, but
Okay.
they're working.
But you want them to do it. Like the people voted for it. You want them to do it.
Yeah, I want it to go through and just be
Yeah.
done with it. I mean, so we'll look, but there are other issues out there, right?
Yeah.
That you got to work on. I got to focus on costs, driving down costs for heating, electricity, healthcare, and building more housing. But we're a great state. There's a lot going for us, no doubt. A lot of challenges we got, but I think as evidenced by this event, when we work together, there's nothing we can't do. And it's nice to be hopeful this morning, right? Isn't it nice to talk about good stuff?
I love talking about good
Jesus,
things.
it is. It's like
some people suggest you may run for president.
All right.
No.
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 Okay. All right.
That was a strong no.
All right.
I'm just doing all I can to do my best to try to be governor here.
Are you going to start a podcast? That's a new hip thing for governors.
Everyone's got a podcast,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need more of them, I think.
Yeah. All right. Well, if I do, you'll be the first on.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
How's that?
I'd love to.
Yeah.
I'd love
We'll
to.
turn the tables.
All right. I would love it.
All right. Great to
All right.
see you
All right,
guys.
great to
Have a
see you.
good day. All
Governor.
right. Thank
Can we have a round of applause for the governor? There we go. All right.
I love the
Excellent.
color of the jackets too this year.
You like the jackets?
Those are nice.
She could probably get you one.
Yeah, those jackets are nice.
Courtney wants a jacket.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
That's usually Wiggy's side of the street with the free stuff.
All right. We got